if I was serious about this, I would join the gym and sign up for the weight training class. But I hate that shit. And so this is my problem. Like, just die early or summon up all this energy that I don't currently have.
Yes. Uh, and hi, Tiffany. Good to see you. Thanks for making it.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Tiffany's been on probably more calls than anyone so far. Um,
Other than you, Larry.
yeah, right. And Mark was just fleshing out his scenario, his situation regarding body in general, and kind of presenting his situation and what brings him to the call. So he specifically came for this body module thing.
Oh, cool.
So,
Okay.
uh, so I take it, Tiffany, that you've got my little cheat sheets, right?
I did receive the cheat sheets. Yes, I
Yeah.
haven't fully
It's just 2 pages.
yeah, I haven't fully looked at
No,
it all. I haven't finished the chapter either. So, but I'm here and I've got it open.
yeah, and what we're gonna do is I'm gonna just go through the major points that doesn't amount to much more than the titles that are in bold, and kind of talking about what my experience was in reading it, and the way this is showing up to me, and then we can just talk about it in terms of what would we individually want to do about using this book as part of our health in other words, they've got a certain concept going on here about what it means to take care of your body, and it turns out it's a little more expansive than I pictured it. I had flipped through the book initially, and I've got these other things from the big book that's got these exercises and stuff. But I had the impression that it was really mostly about chopped down exercises that made sure you fit in a little bit of everything within a given week. And it kind of is, uh, but I was also very much surprised, and not being as well read in integral stuff as you two are. I'm sure that you will be able to flesh out some of this because I don't think they're talking about anything that hasn't been discussed before, but rather they're drawing these concepts from integral theory in general and placing this uh, um, curated collection for our use. Okay, and so with that, I'll go right into talking about it from my notes here, where right off the bat they talk about redefining the body integrally, and they say, and I highlight certain claims that they make that I think are important, and then that's part of my note. So, balanced wellness results from a healthy lifestyle that requires practice. So, if I want to have balanced wellness, I have to practice. So, that means as opposed to I think today I'm going to not eat a hamburger and I'll have a salad instead. Well, yeah, but how often am I going to do that? Is really the question that this is asking. Practice would be I'm going to plan on having a salad 3 times a week or whatever. Um, so we're talking about what do we want to institute on our calendars. So, and it says you actually, this blew my mind. You actually have 3 bodies and you must exercise all 3. And there are states of consciousness correlated with the bodies uh, uh, with the body and these energies. So let's see if I can get this. And are you seeing that backwards or forwards?
I'm seeing it frontwards, but the resolution is inadequate, but I can just pull it up on my computer.
Okay. All right. So the thing is that there are two columns there. One is state and the other is the body slash energy. And the state has to do with the upper left quadrant, and the body slash energy has to do with the upper right quadrant, because the body is not the same thing as our consciousness. Okay. So the this and thatness of this is, if I'm right now, I'm in a waking state. So I'm in touch with my gross body. Okay.
Okay.
When I'm asleep and dreaming, I'm in a subtle body energy. And when I'm in a deep sleep where I'm not dreaming anything, I'm in the causal state. So, is that a familiar, are those familiar concepts to both of you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Less so to me,
Well,
in that I'm not practiced with them.
can I offer you a little refinement on one of those, Larry?
Yeah, yeah, that's what we're going to do, is just
So
dig in on it.
that deep sleep thing, um, neurologists say that we're always dreaming, we just don't remember it.
Well, then
So
the question would be, um, that would be, um, there are actually five states according to Ken Wilber,
okay,
which he also includes these more spiritual states, Turiya and Turiya Tita.
okay,
Um, and I'm not there yet. Okay. My meditation has not brought me to these cosmic consciousness places. But I would say that if indeed we are still um, conscious, even when we're in deep sleep, then what you're saying is that, according to some people, the deep sleep is still in the subtle body. But there is still two more states that are definitely in causal territory.
okay.
So,
So
um, so we're still dealing with at least three states, the third state actually having three subcategories.
yeah, okay,
So, um, so what the point of this whole thing is they're saying that there are exercises that we can do that address these body energies at each gross, subtle, and causal. Um, so I just thought I'd be dealing with gross when it came to the body, and
right.
that spirit would be the other one, and they'd kind of, flip out into different directions that way. So this was news. Uh, And later, I kind of got excited about this because the way that they do this is kind of cool, but we'll get there. So, integral body practices help you pay attention to all three: gross, subtle, and causal. You can even bring awareness into the dream and deep dreamless sleep states. I've never been able to do that, but I've heard people talk about that. People who can be present in their own dreams and know that they're dreaming while it's happening and do that intentionally. Um, and I'm not sure how that relates, but again, it's part of the big integral picture here, the Ken Wilber picture. So what I like to do is dive in, try it, and then 2 weeks later see if anything is different in my life. So it says here, you will find out how your understanding of reality changes if you pursue a three body practice far enough. Um, so there's a promise in here about a shift that can happen in consciousness as a result of body work. So cool. All right. So as we move on, now they've got my interest. Okay. So no practice involves only one body or another. That is to say, causal, subtle, and gross. But you can engage all three of your bodies simultaneously, even though the emphasis will be on one. So what they're saying is that, do you mean that if I'm doing my bicep curls, I can also be accessing my subtle and causal uh, selves? And why would I care? Why would I want to do that? Okay, so we shall see. Okay, so the first thing they talk about is a body workout. And in that category, includes weights, running, aerobics, dance. Pretty much we intuitively know what they're talking about there. Now, subtle body would involve exercises like yoga, tai chi, qigong, breath work, visualization, and lucid dreaming. And then in the causal body, exercises would include witnessing meditation, I am mantra meditation, integral inquiry, and big mind, and centering prayer. So we've kind of got this typical weight trainer aerobics thing. Then there's the Eastern religion kind of a thing. And then there's the cosmic mental stuff here. Now it says it can be powerful to combine your exercises into one continuous exercise routine. And I wrote this down, but it comes after saying all kinds of things that you can do, such as 1 minute modules, where you can scatter these things throughout the day. And basically, the concern here is, how do I plan to do this and execute this in my daily routine and weekly routine? And yet they do want to give some lip service to saying, and if you really were cool, you could line them all up, and this would be very powerful. Okay, well, hopefully I'll be able to maybe do that at some point, or maybe not, but it's not the end of the world, but it's notable. Okay, is everybody with me so far? All right. So, gross body practices. Physical exercise is essential. This is a claim. Now, I am Mark had confessed that he's 63 years old. I'm 72. Tiffany is probably 25, maybe, huh? But in any case, the I have experienced a shift in that my idea about exercise used to be, let's get some washboard abs, or let's get some power, or at least let me be able to have a conversation on a hike, because I can't talk and walk at the same time at altitude. So but at this stage of my life, I have to concern myself with maintenance and the staving off of the debilitation of my body as it naturally heads towards demise. So the concept for me shifts a little bit to, what do I need to do to maintain? I want to be like Ringo Starr and go on tour when I'm 81. So, and if I don't do this stuff, there's a good chance I'm going to have some trouble 10 years from now. So it's serious. So here we go with the gross body practices. The first one they mention is strength training, of course, a core practice for optimum health. And a point that they make is strength training practice can be maintained with 2 20-minute sessions per week. And no other exercise has such impressive impacts on overall health as strength training. If you work one major muscle group a day, you can create routine with minimal time investment. Now, I can say from my own personal experience that what I have been trying to do for the last year is do a 5-day-a-week routine in the morning, and it was working for a while, but I was not able to maintain it. And the more things that I added to my life, I mean, as I kept doing that, I got healthier. I stopped smoking pot, and so that gave me a little more energy. Now, what did I do with the energy? Did I throw it back into the exercise? No, I went and signed up for more courses and stuff. And, because that's my thing. So then now all of a sudden I've got stuff to do, like prepare for this thing in the morning. And so my exercise goes out the window. So I say, okay, well, let me try doing this after I get back from my afternoon jobs, because I have little like musical errands I do, and that's how I make my living now. But that's usually in the afternoon. So the question is, when I come home, do I want to just chill out and ride the remote? Yes. You can see I've got behind me here a mat that is it's a giant yoga mat. It's 4 by 6 feet. And so this is the permanent spot for my exercises. And over on this other side, you can probably see these yoga blocks. This is where I keep all my yoga stuff, and I use for strength training. I use these giant rubber bands, and so that increases the tension as I move, and so the muscle has consistent pressure on it all the way through. And I like those better than weights, because that doesn't happen with weights. As you get to the part where the muscle is stronger, you're using less power to do it with. A Nautilus machine, for example, utilizes this quite well, of this constant appropriate pressure for the level that it's at. And the Nautilus works in a spiral to match the increasing or decreasing tension required. So these are things that I've done so far and lined up. But what I have found is that, and that's why these notes in particular struck me, was that if I'm not, as a rule of thumb, I'm going to start saying, if I'm not getting my stuff done, I need to chop my exercise plan in half and see if I can get that much done. I need the consistency becomes the most important thing. So I was trying to do, 20 minutes of this stuff 5 days a week, but my schedule just didn't allow it. And my schedule combined with a general kind of laziness. I don't really want to do this anyways. Until I get in, like anything else, until you get into it, it's a drag to think about getting into it. So now I'm starting to say, well, what days of the week could I do those 2 20-minute sessions and just do those bands? And I've got to calendar it. Yeah. You're not on, you're muted, Tiffany, in case you're talking.
Yeah, I know. I wanted you to have a clear recording. My computer's a little loud, and I'm making a lot of affirmative noises.
Okay. All right. Just checking. All right. So that was my big aha about the body work is start small and consistent has got to be my approach. And so I would, and it sounds like they're saying, you don't need to go crazy right away. And in fact, that's almost the surest way that people wind up not doing stuff in the long run is trying to do too much too soon. So there we go. Now, in the book on page 152 to 158, they describe a fit training description. And so you've got all these pictures. I'll just show you a little bit of it. They have this gold star practice, and it's called FIT. And so that would be something to dig in deeper. And it's what they say about focus. This FIT training stands for focus intensity training, is a state-of-the-art approach to strength training that makes conscious, coordinated use of the gross, subtle, and causal bodies. When doing FIT, we strengthen the gross physical body, lifting weights or training against resistance. We strengthen the subtle body by focusing awareness and circulating energy throughout the body. And we strengthen the causal body by maintaining contact with ever-present witness that is aware of the sensations, sights, sounds, and feelings during each workout. Now, where that blows my mind the more I think about it is that what that means is that unlike the way I tend to exercise, which is get on like I have for my aerobic exercise in the other room, I own an elliptical. And so what I like to do is find some integral talk, put it on my tablet, put the tablet on the thing, watch the thing, do my dance, and the next thing I know, 30 minutes has gone by. Okay. All right. That's not what they're talking about. I think, and I'm going to check it out some more, but it really seems to me like what they're saying is pay attention. Don't do that. Get on the thing and notice what's going on with your body. So it's almost like meditation where you drift off and come back. I can see it coming right now. That's what it's gonna be, is about focus intensity training. So this is the place, and I'll just once again, page 152 is kind of where that starts. And they go into this, and it's several pages long. Usually they have in this book there'll be a sidebar that can take up an entire page, and it's grayed out and circled, and that's how you know it's something that they're want you to pay attention to. But this one goes for several pages. That it's a sidebar that goes for several pages. So they go into detail. And so that's the big shift, is how do they're describing how this goes, and I don't quite understand it yet, how to do what they're saying. Tiffany.
I just wanted to offer that I don't know if there's a wrong way to do it. I think that like if getting on the elliptical with something that is engaging, like that's you're still playing with like engaging different parts of the body. And while it is, like having times where your pure intention is on listening to what's coming up in your body, but like most of these things involve kind of, yes, some element where you want to listen to the different parts, and also sometimes just getting into certain motions. Like when I started training martial arts, I couldn't be connected to my breath and the movement of my body and my feeling of awkwardness and weirdness, not knowing what the heck I was doing. So, I had to find things that would like allow me to like focus on, okay, I'm just going to focus on my balance right now, and they encourage us to set those intentions. And it's like this wonderful, welcoming, training space that I'm part of, which I also think is kind of lacking. And I think it'll get in, I think it gets more into all the different ways that you can engage this. But so far it's been very isolated in terms of like, these are the things you go and you have to do. But I think the integration comes from, okay, I'm going to listen to this talk about, any number of, integral top, something that is connecting to these parts. And I'm going to move my body while I do it. And I'm just going to get used to being in that motion. And, that's giving me the lack of attention on my body so I can do the thing, which will then lead hopefully to further embodiment. It's like, I don't think that I don't think there's one way to do it. And I think that there's a lot of ways that you have to kind of come up against, not just like, yeah, all the different feelings that come up when you don't want to do something that you don't know how to do, that's uncomfortable, that like activates parts of yourself. So I just want you to have some grace in all of us because I'm learning that all the time with this stuff.
So it sounds like just as I could sabotage myself by trying to do 20 minutes 5 days a week, I could also sabotage myself by trying to be Mr. Single pointedness of mind while I'm on the elliptical.
Right.
I could say, hey, every once in a while, maybe every 5 minutes, have an alarm go off and go, okay, now I'm going to focus in and then go back to the thing, or just these little ahas, something to get the ball rolling. Be gentle, get started is the thing here. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It might be easier to pay attention to your body if you were listening to something instead of reading your tablet.
Oh no, I'm talking about watching a YouTube. I'm not. No, I wouldn't try to read and be on a
Oh,
machine
okay.
at the same time. I don't that I don't think I
I'd
could.
fall off. I mean,
There are people who do it.
Yeah, no, I, don't- I can't read, and in fact, I don't even like to be on a call if I'm on the machine, because I think it's distracting and kind of discourteous to have that constant motion going on while there's somebody's giving a talk, you know.
Whereas as somebody who comes from classroom settings, I think we need to disrupt this idea that we're all sitting looking forward at a teacher and like we need to move our bodies. Part of how we digest information, a lot of us, is through movement. And we don't want to be distracting, but how can we? That's what mindfulness is about, is that there can be any number of distractions and you're able to stay focused. So, I mean, to maintain your connection. So, this is part of what we were exploring at that embodied ILEA, right? Like the embodied integral. It's like, how can we be in our body, like, be in our bodies while taking in we all take in information differently and we process it in different ways. And I don't know. Again, I just want to encourage you to do what you need to do what you're trying to do, and
Mhm.
let any semblance of like, is this the right way? There's 8 billion ways to do anything. 8 billion,
I
so
seem to have a pattern of absolutism showing up.
working on it too.
Okay, so moving right along, we're doing okay with this. All right, so then they talk about cardio, aerobic exercise that increases the lung capacity, strengthens the heart, lowers the blood pressure. Um, all good stuff, not the same thing as this. That's why they're separate. And then there's also a whole section on nutrition. What are we putting in our bodies? Uh, and the key takeaway that I wanted to mention from that section is they set up the quadrants. It's page 167 here. See if I can hold it up. So we've got these quadrants here: eat mindfully, eat meaningfully, eat optimal foods, and eat sustainably. And I kind of drew that picture in on my notes there. But I thought, well, isn't that smart? To do it from a aqual perspective. Um, I wouldn't have thought of that, but yeah, uh, people talk about eating mindfully in the when you go to a workshop, they might tell you, if it's a meditation thing all day long and they break for lunch, they might tell you to not talk at all, just eat in silence and one bite at a time, as a practice, something to try. But the idea being that's worth thinking about. And um it's eating meaningfully. I don't remember what they meant by that in the we section. It could be, well, I'm guessing now that uh, eat meaningfully. Okay, the we of nutrition includes the shared meaning surrounding food. Culture influences your food choices. Oh, okay. An American as American as apple pie or a granola hippie. Okay, uh so our culture, uh you know, Mark and I are both from places that are big on barbecue, you know. So vegetarian is a lifelong trial and error thing.
Larry, I still keep thinking about that barbecue place where in Lakewood that we went to, and got to get back there.
Yeah, so like that might be something that is something that happens once a quarter or once or bi-monthly or something that is worked into the plan, uh where the moderation is built in. And that's where I have a problem, because if I go out in the day and I've got, like this afternoon, I'm going to have two jobs with an hour in between. That Wendy's is flashing at me wherever I go. So,
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with eating at Wendy's. Just don't do it every day,
mhm.
and don't eat three of them.
And respect the workers and appreciate that you have the food and that you have a plate,
Yeah,
have something in between
and
working.
and don't have a soda and don't have the fries.
Yeah, all these things. And I like that, Tiffany, I like that you put in, be nice to the people at the window. That's something that I'm starting to realize how much of a big difference I could make in people's lives simply by just not being an asshole from this. When I pull off the road, who knows who cut me off in that line? So I'm going to be pissed off before I even get to the window. Or
But
when, or they, hi, would you like to try? I think, no, I don't want to try. I want to tell you what I want to buy. All right. I don't want any rewards. I don't want any emails. I don't want to take a survey. Just sell me the freaking food. So, yeah, I could calm down a bit in that regard. Okay. All right.
I
Eating.
always go inside. I rarely use a drive-through window.
Well,
Cause
you don't talk to a person if you go inside most places anymore. So
oh, that's right.
they got rid of all the registers and
Oh, the
uh,
last time I went to a fast food place, there's all the screens, and then there's a guy standing there. And I said, "Can I tell you what I want?" And he says, "Yeah, sure." So I didn't have to
they
touch any
phased
of
most
those
of those
machines.
off. Yeah, they phased a lot of them out. But I'm guessing there's going to be people who don't understand how to use. They're always going to have somebody there, but maybe not.
I was at a McDonald's with my nephew, and we did the order on one of those screens. And I said, "Shit." That's not enough for me. I need another hamburger. And my nephew says, "Do you want me to order it for you?" And I said, "Oh yeah, that'd be great."
Go take care of that. But that, yeah, yeah. There's connection. Like, I think if you find your sense of connection with whatever you're doing, because it's like not everybody has a choice of what they get to, It's like appreciate that you have a choice and
Yeah,
the
true.
money to do it, and yeah.
Yeah, and the guy on the corner that is standing there holding his hand out, um, he's got to eat too, and so we all make our choices individually in those moments, um,
And when you're
but
poor,
there's
people think you should just take what you can get and that you should just, and that's also part of life and this autonomy, this sense of connection to our nourishment. It's like we deserve to eat what feels good to us, that makes us feel,
and
connected
this
to
gets
your
us
roots.
into those
Yeah. Hmm.
exterior quadrants
Right.
of not only do I need to eat. This is the exterior individual, the it quadrant, upper right, eat optimal foods. So we're discussing that, and I can tell you about some of my uh, strategies that have worked for me in just a minute here. But I also want to mention this the lower the quadrant of its, where yet in Tiffany, you touched on this, where it says it's summarized by saying eat sustainably. Okay, so uh am I buying a package of cheese and crackers that has more plastic surrounding it than I need to? I mean, I'm taking on some garbage along with it. What can I do? Um, what can I buy? Can I go to the farmer's market? Can I work that in? And that takes more work than going to Sprouts. I don't have to, if I need something, bam zoom, I'm back. I've got to think about Saturday morning blocking out time to get a freaking zucchini, you know. But if I want to play in quadrant 4, that's what it's going to take. And the
seven
question is,
dollars zucchini at that. I mean, but it's gonna be delicious.
okay, so mindfully, meaningfully, optimally, and sustainably, um, as as things to keep in mind, and um, and from there, uh, they talk about subtle body practices. Subtle energy refers to energies beyond gross physical, known by terms as prana, ki, chi. It's the missing link between intentional mind and physical body. I don't grasp that just yet, but it seemed like an important concept to soak up.
I've never
Um,
heard that before about the missing link.
it was just it stood out to me in the text.
Yeah, well, it stands out to me too. I'll tell you one thing: the guy who wrote that book, um, oh God, I've blanked on his
Well,
name.
there's 4 guys:
Terry
Ken and
Patton.
Terry Patton, Adam Leonard, and Marco Morelli.
And
Terry
Ken, yeah.
Patton was fucking brilliant about that kind of thing.
Do you have the three body? I posted the three body workout. It's narrated by Terry. They have
Yeah,
a video of this. Is that the kata you were talking about?
yes, it is.
Okay, so it is that the full series where it's like about 45 minutes and then you can pause for like journaling.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. And
That's a
he
yeah.
died several years ago, and
Oh
I
yeah.
hadn't heard his voice for a long time. And so when I played the video yesterday morning, I was like, is that Terry? That is Terry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't appreciate him enough while he was alive.
I didn't even know about Terry until 2017. I met him at that conference that I met you at, Mark.
Okay.
I don't know if you were there, Larry. I think you came
No, I'm
a
I'm
later
started
later date. Right. You came last year.
2024 is when
Right,
I
right.
got involved.
So and I realized Terry was in the Bay and had Bay Area Integral at the time, but um, I met him. He came late and walked into this a workshop where we were doing an exercise and I was a volunteer. So everybody else was already paired up. So I was like, you want to pair? He came in. So we just sat down and we were just staring in each other's eyes. It's that exercise. So that was like our initial meeting. And we had
Wow.
a really good dance party that night on the New
Oh,
Year's
that was New
Eve.
Year's Eve with,
Yeah.
oh, that woman who's famous for the Enneagram was
Oh,
the life of the party.
what was
Helen Palmer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Ellen Palmer. Yes.
Helen Palmer.
Helen. Right. I
She
didn't know
was
about
there
her.
in
Yeah.
person, huh? Wow.
Yeah, Helen Palmer. We all danced with Helen Palmer. She danced with everybody.
It
She
was
was
a
like
good
the
party.
Energizer bunny of
Yeah.
90-year-old dancers.
Right. Oh my gosh. And Terry was very much, a dancing fool. That was good man.
I feel particularly blessed in the sense that although I'm a latecomer to integral theory in terms of serious study, um, my there is over the last 20 years so many not only books but videos. The amount of YouTubes that are available to learn from, and these people, some of them are dead, yeah, and they're still teaching me.
Yeah.
uh
That was kind of Adam Leonard, I think that is actually because he's part of Google, like he's really into the tech and uh, kind of
oh
corporate world, and like he's their consultant for Integral. I mean, like literally. And I think that in that early 2000s period, there was just like a lot of labor put in by a lot of people in the community to create these resources and make them available online. And now there's Integral Life, um, and all of these other offsets, but these repositories of content, and they're still making quite a bit of content, but this is the foundational. It's like you can get into Integral in any way. Like I don't believe in serious Integral, actually. I'm like, if it's serious, it ain't Integral. Okay, it's too serious. Like there's serious moments, but it's like we're all Integral. We're all going through everything, whether we know it or not, aware of it or not, and we just all have different connection to this language, right? And like this is about having more people feel empowered to explore what we are. And so I think you've been, studying Integral in your own ways, and you're bringing your awareness to it is like actually what makes it valuable. That's the missing link, right? That's the
yeah, essentially I have a half an hour talk that I have published on a video that I did that Mark was sitting right next to me while I did it. I get to talk the story of my life in a half an hour, and it's why am I with the theme of how did I wind up in Integral. So I was headed towards Integral all my life. I just put the flag in the ground 3 years ago.
right. Yeah. You
So
drew and you joined, you like entered into the community, and it's like it's wild. It's like it's evolving. It is. And it's like, yeah. Anyways, continue. We've got
okay.
12
Yeah,
minutes,
we've got
right?
we're coming down and we're almost done. So we go to we're subtle body practice. Subtle refers to energies beyond the gross physical as the prana, ki, chi, etc. So now there's another thing that I wrote down here to the microcosmic orbit exercise on page 178. This is something I never saw before, but essentially what is circle breathing, front to back, head to butt.
Yeah.
There's, I mean, that I've never, I know what that is. I've never practiced it. I don't, but the fact that they made a whole page out of that indicates to me that this is something that's pretty important. Okay. So, breath, and they talk about head, heart, and hara. Hara is the center of our bodily intelligence, our gut feeling. That's when I found out, that's when I understood it, when they said your gut feeling, your vital presence, your power. It's the second chakra. It's this energy here. And and sexuality is mentioned and it's part of this. Um, I didn't really I didn't go there too much because I it just seemed like there's enough going on here without throwing that in here, you know. Uh, but and I have no one to do it with at the moment anyhow. So um
I was surprised it wasn't on the list of exercises personally, but
so
it came up. I'm glad they worked it.
but it's page 182 has a whole section called body sex. There it is. There we go. So once again, these big gray sections lets you know that this is important. And finally, they wrap up with resting in the causal body on page 190. And then there's this quote by Ramana Maharshi. Um, that which is not present in deep, dreamless sleep is not real. That which is not present in deep, dreamless sleep is not real.
And that's in the book.
That's in the book,
Page
page
193.
page 190.
Oh, we have different books.
Oh,
Mine's
okay.
193.
Wait, yeah, 193. I typed it wrong. Yeah,
Oh,
it's on
okay.
193. I made the wrong reference. I have a lot of typos on this thing this morning. So, okay, so with that, uh, that
That's
that completes
beautiful.
the chapter. So, um, again, we end with the way we kind of started with that inquiry about what is the state of consciousness there with dreaming and not dreaming and how important is it. um, Ramana Maharshi, I've never read him, but he's people say that Ken Wilber relied on him a lot in his concepts, and he
Yeah.
refers to him a lot. And they talk about him on Sounds True stuff. People who are talking on Sounds True do that too. So
They
um,
talk about everybody, it sounds true. So
yeah,
that's
okay,
not
gang. Well,
good.
that completes the my my thoughts on the chapter so far, and I'm glad we got this on tape too, because um, anybody who wants to get started, I think, might have a lot of the same questions.
Well, when I came in, it sounded like you guys like you are working through some intentions or things are kind of coming up around um how you want to create certain routines or uh habits around the body. So I've been practicing. I just started qigong because I'm away from the martial art. I'm in Reno right now, so I haven't been able to go to where I'd been doing martial arts. So now I'm part of this qigong program, and I'm really appreciating it. And I think walking and mindful walking, like thinking about like your body at like as you're doing things. Like I feel like that becomes exercise, just being like, okay, how am I moving my body? Dance breaks. I'm just wondering, how do you find the motivation? Because like I've gone through many periods where I'm just like um where I'm hiding from my body. My body's it's a I lug it around, I make it do whatever I want, and I'm really trying to find some respect for it, so I don't break it. And with stress or any other bad not bad habits. It's just, like you said, moderation, finding that balance. I'm just wondering what's motivating you to connect with your body. Um,
Well,
at this
Tiffany, are
time.
you familiar with the precious human body?
No.
So it's a Buddhist thing, and um, so if you think about like all of the organisms alive on planet Earth, not very many of them get to like watch the sunset or have great sex or eat fabulous food or smell flowers, but we do. And with so well, and think complicated thoughts. We're the only species that, well, possibly cephalopods, but nobody really knows. But anyway, there are tremendous benefits to having a human body, a precious human body. And because our bodies should be thought of as so precious, maybe we should take better care of them and utilize them and enjoy them to their fullest too.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, because I think taking care of them though also looks like doing the things that, going out on those hikes and like being in the spaces you want to be in. Like I'm interested in weightlifting just because like because I don't want to do it. So I'm like really trying to encourage myself to do the things that I'm like I don't ever want to do that because supposedly it's like really good for your whole system, it teaches
Yeah,
you to take on more weight and it's like I don't have to become some, buff bodybuilder, but I
right.
can connect to my ability to lift what life is.
So the integral
Oh, I've never
weightlifter.
never seen that.
He's friends with Rob McNamara,
Yeah, yeah.
and he was also one of the people who did that three body kata exercise. I saw his name on there, and he
Okay.
got interviewed on Integral Naked all those years ago. And I think this is a really good book. And he is a member of the integral community, so integral bodybuilding, integral weightlifting. It's not
Yeah.
really
Well, I'm glad you
bodybuilding.
held that up here. So now all you folks out there in Integral Land who are watching this can make a note of that and perhaps take uh, something away from what we've discussed here today. And
Well,
I think
let me
this,
let
yeah,
me say it clearly for the audience. Strength for Life by Sean Phillips.
okay.
And we can post that in the Discord maybe as well. So we continue to build our resources.
That's right. Mark, I created a Discord a chapter, a thingy that uh, where I collect stuff having to do with these chapters.
Okay.
So if I see a little short on YouTube that has to do with something like that, I have this collection. So I'll send that to you to get on there if you want to
Okay.
see what I've collected. And with that, I think we're at time. So thanks for calling in, and I'm really glad that we did this, and it
Yeah.
brought me to clarity about what's happening in this chapter just by having to prepare for this talk,
Yeah.
which is probably one of my selfish reasons for doing it to begin with. Is it helps, so.
Well, that's good. That's where you're finding some of your motivation, and you're doing a really wonderful job. So thank you for encouraging this work and practice. And I just want to say we're not going to punish ourselves into liberation. So I guess
No.
working with that preciousness and care and just like,
A
okay,
little bit regularly is the
what I
key.
want to do. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, gang,
Very
see you
cool.
next time.
All
Go
right.
get it, guys.
Bye.
Enjoy your bodies.